Hey guys, and Happy New Year's Eve. This episode is going to be a review of 2018 from start to finish. It's going to talk about my ride and geez, the hell of a roller coaster we've had this year. I spent the last day within a bunch of goings on here personally trying to tack down like a play-by-play of what happened this year, and I was actually somewhat surprised at the craziness of what happened this year. And it might explain a few things. It might explain why this China section has been somewhat dry. It might explain why some other moments were a little bit more cherished, and it just might explain some things a little bit better once you hear what we went through this year. And the next episode that we have, I'm going to actually discuss what 2019 has to offer. And I will produce that one a little bit more cleanly and with a little bit more diligence than I'm going to put this one. I'm actually going to record my talk here and then just upload it so that you guys can see it. I've got guests. We're drinking and doing some New Year's Eve celebrations until the apple drops, right? Until the ball drops. 6:30 right now, so I wanted to get this done before things got too into it at the party. This is what we got, and it's going to be a discussion, so I hope you're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you because like I said, I realized a few things as I started to compile 2018 that I hadn't realized all happened this year. It was so much that happened that I was like, holy shit, that was a pretty incredible year. So here we go. Let's set the stage for 2018 by first talking about where I was just at the end of 2017. The videos towards the end of 2017 encompassed the end of Japan. I had just finished the length of Japan. That was a fantastic journey. A lot of you guys know it. If you haven't, please look back at jayoe.com/Japan, and it has all the videos there. I was excited. I was enthusiastic. Things were going on really well. The tour was really progressing along. I flew my trike from Okinawa to Taipei at the end of December, I think, and then I flew from Taipei to Ningbo because it was my plan to spend New Year's with Eva and Annie and Christmas. I stopped the tour at that point in time, and I flew to Ningbo. Now, the holidays passed. Me and Eva and Annie and her family, we took a trip to, where did we go? Kunming, Yunnan province. It was a fantastic trip. We were all having a great time. Along the way, Eva's grandpa, Annie's father, didn't feel well, went to the hospital, got checked up, and found out that he had cancer in his throat. This threw all of my plans into a bit of a disarray. Paused the tour until, as a family, we could figure out what was going on. He got diagnosed and they found a bunch of masses in his esophagus, and so we found a surgeon in Shanghai that was going to take care of that, and we went to Shanghai to live with everybody as a family while he went through this ordeal. I was trying to support Annie through that process, so I paused my tour and went with her to Shanghai. I didn't produce a lot of videos at that point in time. There's like a weird kind of sporadic sprinkling of episodes, and so I just was there to support Annie, and there wasn't much else going on. March 3rd was the earliest I actually got back to the tour. So we're already looking at a couple of months gone in 2018 that were off tour. But I remember the feeling of returning to Taipei, excited, ready to tackle the Taiwan area, island. I have Taiwan all mapped out, and in March, it fit really well because riding around Taiwan in March is a perfect time to ride around Taiwan. It's not typhoon season, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, things are kind of in bloom, really beautiful. It is the ideal time to cycle around Taiwan. Even though Annie's father's issue kind of extended my return a little bit, it wasn't a loss in any way, like this time was lost and I'm putting myself in a lesser situation riding around Taiwan. So I got to Taiwan March 3rd. I spent the next 3 days getting the trike ready, composing some videos, doing some live streams, kind of getting back into the zone, because a lot of times the first couple of days is really kind of me kind of getting back in touch with the tour. Not 3 days past, March 6th. The next day, I was about to embark on the tour again, and my dad calls me. Matt, I got 6 months. What are you talking about, Dad? I got cancer, I'm dying. Got 6 months, the doctors gave me 6 months. The next day, I flew to the States. March 7th, I was in the USA visiting my dad in the hospital as he got his checkup. He's just basically finding out that his life was going to be cut short. Pancreas cancer, it's something aggressive and very hard to fight. And my dad decided at that point in time that he was not going to fight it with a bunch of debilitating treatments that was going to take down his quality of life. He was just going to enjoy the time that he had. We planned out the rest of the spring and the summer, and we planned out all the way up until July, which is what we thought we had. We thought at least July, maybe August. And so I started projects with him. If you guys have not seen that, it's jayoe.com/dad. You'll see the time that we spent together, and it was my mission to chronicle his life, the past and the present, make it so that I could share and my perception of my dad and everything that he's done for me. So that was my mission. It had switched from Jayoe being a tour around the world to Jayoe being what turned out to be a quite relatable story of a loved one who is having their life cut short, which many people all around, you might, guys who haven't seen these videos, you might think of it as a depressing topic, and in some ways it was, but it was also an opportunity to cherish life. And me and Dad told stories, and we shared so much, and I had such a foundational relationship with him built upon spending these last moments with him that I couldn't trade those moments for anything. A lot of people that might have experienced loss or haven't, but would like to see how somebody does such a situation with grace, you might appreciate looking at those videos. Again, jayoe.com/dad. The doctors originally said he was going to last 6 months. Turned out to be 6 weeks. And my dad passed away April 27th. March 6th, I found out, and April 27th, my dad passed away. Fortunately, it was a fairly quick decline at the end. It was only, really, he was talking the day before and he was gone. And that's our dog sneezing. Voila, sneezing. And I'm thankful for that. I just wish we would have had more time. It would have been nice to have that 6 months because I had a lot of plans to share a whole bunch of other stuff, and not only that, but design videos for my dad to continue to be in our lives for the foreseeable future in some sort of audio video form. Life doesn't always work out the way that we want. April 27th, Dad passed away. At that point in time, I stayed some time after that, getting and arranging the house and dealing with family issues and spending time with people and mourning. Also, I went to VidCon, which was a video conference for people making YouTube videos in California, which was, so it's like the biggest event for YouTube in the world for people to making videos. And so that was a very enlightening experience to learn about the craft, things that I hadn't known, things that I had known I could strengthen, meeting other people and filming. I filmed a dozen of those Vlogger one-on-one episodes. So we're all the way to April 27th. I have been on tour for all of 3 days, just because I went to Taiwan to prepare the trike. It wasn't even really 3 days of riding, it was just 3 days of preparation. So we're looking at a year here, and so far nothing is really happening as far as the cycle tour, which is crazy. After VidCon, we all went back to Ningbo. I spent some time with Eva and Annie, and then I got back on July 25th. July 25th, I returned to Taiwan for the tour of Taiwan. At this point in time, it's July. We're deep into summer. It's the hottest time of the year for this area. It's not only hot, but in typhoon season. I went from originally planning Taiwan in March to now returning in July, and I remember the first day I prepared the trike. It took about 5 days before the trike was ready to go, and I was ready to go and organized. I got on the road on July 30th, leaving Taipei, which is where I was parked, and I was headed from west coast to east coast, and so I was starting the west coast, and I hit my first destination. Was a fairly substantial ride. I think it was like 63, 70 kilometers to TAIWAN, which is barely out of Taipei, like basically still in Taipei. That entire ride, the temperature was around 90 some degrees. It was extremely hot, extremely sunny, but I was in great spirits, except for my groin. My groin, on the left side of my groin, so much pain and discomfort that I had to have my hand pressed alongside my groin while I was riding. Luckily, I can ride one-handed fairly easily, and I'm pressing, in so much pain. I got to TAIWAN, and I'm like, what now? What is going on? Just like it's just a cacophony, a comedy of errors happening, you know? I stopped the tour, and I took a train from TAIWAN the next day back to Taipei, and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I visited the hospital, I visited another hospital, I got tests and more tests, and I had doctors telling me that I was going to be no more cycling, you should quit cycling, you've got some sort of CPS or something, some sort of disorder that you carry with you for the rest of your life, and I didn't like that diagnosis. I was pretty assured that what I had, that what I had was a hernia, but people weren't telling me I had a hernia, and I was trying to trust doctors. In the end, I think it was July 29th, I went one time back to Taipei because somebody from the Jayoe Nation had recommended a center that specializes in hernias. I visited a doctor, and the doctor looked at me, he examined me, and he said, yep, you have an inguinal hernia. You can have surgery, it'll fix the problem, but you should lose weight and get healthy, number one. Turns out that all that time I had spent back home with my dad in America, not exercising, sitting at the side of my bed, just helping my dad through this tough time and the stressful time for me as well, I was getting unhealthy, and I was way overweight, more than I had been in a long time. And then I got right back on the road, and then I'm putting myself through all this pressure and stress as far as riding goes and traveling, and it just, the compound factors was creating some trouble for me health-wise. The doctor says you need to lose weight and you need to get strong again and healthy. You don't necessarily need surgery. If you do want surgery, by the time you finish TAIWAN, we can talk about it. Turns out that I'm pretty much okay. As a matter of fact, yesterday I had some pain, but I've kind of been eating a lot lately. It's kind of nice because when the hernia flares up, it's a definite pressure that says, Matt, you need to get healthy. So it's like a barometer. And right now, the Matt barometer is saying you need to get healthy again. So this is, you know, in 2018, something that really kind of presented itself. By the time I figured it all out, it took about a week. August 3rd, I was back on the road. So it was just like 4 or 5 days before I could get that rectified and get back on the road. At a point in time, I was thinking that the tour was gonna be dissolved in its current form as far as cycling. So it was good to find out it was hernia and it's something treatable. A lot of this review is stuff that you guys already know if you follow the tour. If you don't, go ahead and follow. If you guys want to see my ride around Taiwan from start to finish, jayoe.com, jayoe.com/Taiwan. And you get a whole map there. You can see my route around, and you'll see all the videos pertaining to Taiwan. So I'm back on the road. It only took from August 3rd to September 23rd. It just took over a month and a half, I guess. But within that month and a half, man, tropical Penghu Island, meeting with bike factories, meeting performer trikes, finding out where my frame was made for my trike, meeting an amazing array of people in southern Taiwan, Judy and Ken, they were showing me around little cities that I hadn't even had plotted on the map, and major cities. I had typhoons, and I had forced rests, the heat, and it was not the right time to ride around Taiwan. That's for sure. Just so many things happened that it's hard to quantify. But I cycled all the way around the entire island. I also visited other islands like Green Island and Penghu Islands. We met King Kong in the Penghu Islands, and we met all those young kids in Green Island that took me around and showed me around, showed me their life. I ended up spending the night in some dilapidated, burnt out husk of a hotel. I spent a few nights not just one night in a tent, you know, but I did see some amazing things. On September 23rd, I left Taiwan via a ferry from Keelung Harbor all the way to Xiamen. When I got to Xiamen, I took another break because I wanted to see Eva and Annie, so I went back to Ningbo, and I had a bunch of things planned with Eva and Annie. I'm trying to balance family life and traveling life, and that's part of this vlog, is knowing that fact and also seeing that balance. I've had a few people on the last video commenting that they aren't necessarily so much interested in family life, but they are interested in the traveling, or vice versa. My answer to them would be that everything is interwoven. I want to set myself apart from other people and other channels by that honesty. I might retool the way that I share family stuff, because I do realize that a lot of it is monotonous. It's not like me cycling from new place to new place, but seeing Eva grow and how I'm dealing with family life and how I'm dealing with relationships while I'm traveling, tell you what, it's a unique situation, and I'm dealing with it in a sort of a unique way, and I want to share that way with you so that we can all kind of reflect on it as members of the Jayoe Nation. So I went back home to Ningbo, spent some time there. It was about a month before I got back to the road. October 30th, I started leaving in Xiamen South. Now, I heard a lot of people talking about how the leg of the tour in China was a bit different. It was a bit humdrum, a bit monotonous, and they felt differently about it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, the weather was already getting past summer. It was getting into the colder parts, getting past harvest season. So, you know, a lot of times things are vibrant and moving in the summertime, and we had passed that. Two, the VPN issue prevented me from uploading live streams and doing some sort of, you don't upload live streams, but you see what I'm saying, streaming live streams. And that was missing as a major component from the tours, which I found really exciting to do in Taiwan, was doing those live streams. Three, we were riding through a lot of industrial areas, whereas Taiwan, we had some industrial, but a lot of it, like especially the East Coast, was really lush and beautiful. And although I did have a lot of that in Yangshuo and Guilin, didn't necessarily have the amount of it that we've had previously in Japan and Korea and Taiwan. So mainland China was a bit different. I like to counter that with the fact that we had some amazing experiences. There was beautiful roads, beautiful mountains, some interactions with some amazing people throughout Xiamen and Shantou, where we visited the toy factory and we showed some sort of factory life and cultural life, walking through a weird village in the middle of nowhere near Mashan, and spending the day with some real locals and exploring areas like that. So there was this sort of a thing that we had, but I will agree that it was different. The next year is going to be wholly different from there. So we've got some amazing things to look forward to there. That's kind of where we are today. The trike now is sitting at a hotel in Nanning. It's waiting for my return. It's going to be about a week or more from now before I'll be able to get back to the trike and cycle from Nanning, which is just adjacent to the border with Vietnam, and then pass into Vietnam and do some amazing things there. I'm not going to talk about the next year and the following plan until the next video, because right now we're looking at the year in review, and in the next video, because I just don't want these things to go too long, we're going to look at the year ahead. Some notable things we had in 2018, we have Performer Trikes that is planning to build me a full suspended trike of their own original design. It's wholly original, and they're working on that. I don't know when they're going to finish. George, the owner of the company, is going to produce, test, and then produce a series of like pre-production models that he's going to send to me and have me test them out. So that's in the works. Eva's book was created. If you guys hadn't seen the book I wrote for Eva, it accompanies the video called The World Awaits, which is on my channel. Please check it out. It was beautiful. I compiled a 1-hour 4K drone flight of all of Taiwan. I'm really proud of it. If you guys really like that video, let me know, because I'm thinking that I could compile one for Japan and Korea if I have time. The new projects we added in 2018, hostel territory, where I go in and kind of do reviews for the hostels that I stayed at. I see that being really important in 2018, really important in 2019. Gear review videos, which I thought did really well, brought a lot of new pairs of eyes to the channel. I think I'm going to do that a lot more, but it was really nice to do those in 2018. Doing long extended rides for those of you guys that have been with me that are fixated on the cycling end of things. These were really nice to add in 2018, and I see them growing in usage in the future. So we've got some amazing things that have been happening. The 2018 was fraught with any number of frustrating but exhilarating issues. It hadn't really until I started looking at it and like writing it down on my computer did I realize how much time was lost off the road by situations that were out of my control. Oh, and another thing, we lost my dad, but we also lost a fellow trike rider and somebody that I hadn't necessarily adopted as the moniker of a friend because I just didn't know him well enough, but I was about to, and we had filmed a live stream, James Dobson, who was cycling across America to support children with cancer. So he passed away on the road, on a trike, doing exactly the same thing I'm doing on the road in the United States in this case. And so that really hit home for me, and that is definitely a notable moment in 2018, something that I will not forget, and something that has really honestly taught me a lesson, and that life is fragile, and we need to live the way we want to live, and we need to value every moment that we have, and we need to live the best that we can and make all the people around us happy, but also be true to ourselves. My dad taught me that. James Dobson kind of taught me that. A number of people I met on the road taught me that. Looking at Eva and being able to write this book for her and to support her in her future has kind of allowed me to introspectively look at her and also think about myself. Think about how I want her to perceive life and therefore how I should be perceiving life as an example to her. A lot of things in 2018 happened. Just crazy. It makes me think about the future of 2019 and say, if I'm on the road the amount of time that I plan to be on the road normally, it's going to be very interesting how much road I can cover, how many places I'm going to visit, how many people I'm going to visit. There's a lot of things that happen in 2018 that won't happen in 2019. And I'm hoping that as far as drama goes, personal struggle drama like family drama and deaths and things like that, I hope all of that is behind us and we can look to 2019 with renewed enthusiasm and renewed vigor and renewed excitement and just Jayoe the hell out of it. Thank you everybody that has supported me in 2018. Thank you everybody that has become patrons. If you guys want to support the tour, I'm going to start pressing that a little bit, just pressing that button. Obviously, if you don't have the means and you don't want to, that's fine. But if you do have the means and you do want to, I want you to know that I do have a Patreon account. You'll see it at the end of the video, little P. You become a supporter of the tour, and I appreciate anything. So become a Patreon. All the Patreon support I've had so far, I'm going to try and really upgrade my activity on Patreon. But again, we're talking to the future. The next episode we're going to look to the future. I'm going to show you maps. I'm going to show you where I plan to go. I'm going to show you the route and the big key moments along the way. And we'll see how much my beginning plan ends up being my last plan. Golly, if I would have done a plan for beginning in 2018, it would have been totally different because I had so many surprise things. But surprises make life interesting. Even the dramatic and sad and tragic ones. Lessons learned from 2018 can be lessons applied to 2019 and the future. So I appreciate you. I hope you stick around through the hodgepodge that is my life that I'm sharing with you. But I think I do have something unique. and what I'm sharing has value, even the stuff that other people might not have been so interested in. But as a whole, I think it does. And I appreciate you being here. So thank you. And I will see you in 2019. Have a great New Year's. Bye-bye.